Okay, time has come. So we will begin where we left off in the Shar HaBitachon, in the Hakdama, in the introduction of the Shar HaBitachon of the Hovot HaLevavot. And B'ezrat Hashem, when we finish this last benefit that we're going to see, we'll do a quick review of all the benefits that we've so far talked about, and then B'ezrat Hashem, even start Perek Aleph of Shar HaBitachon. So we are holding in the 10th and final benefit, the 5th benefit of the worldly benefits of having bitachon, and we're up to umehen. Okay, so let's take a look at this 10th benefit. Umehen, and amongst the worldly benefits of having bitachon, simchato bechol inyan shayatikehu elav. He's going to have, a person has so much bitachon in Hashem, he'll have a benefit that he will be happy in every circumstance which Hashem places him into, even though it's against his nature. Some people are more comfortable in one situation than another. Some people are less social. People are more social. Some people don't like too much stress, too much this. But the Ma'aseh, he writes over here that if a person has bitachon, no matter where he is or where you put him or what situation he finds himself in, he'll be besimcha. He'll be besimcha, even if it's against his nature. Rabbi Victor Miller, Zeichat Tzadik Lebracha, brings a few examples. Let's start with the second example first. He says, imagine you have a neighbor that you don't like. Some people, it's not very hard to imagine. You have a neighbor that you don't like, and he lives right next to you, and you have to learn to adjust to them. Says Rabbi Victor Miller, he should endeavor to be on good terms with the neighbor and continue to greet him with a friendly face, even if the neighbor doesn't respond. Okay? You have bitachon that you realize that Hashem puts you in such a situation with a neighbor who's not responsive, with a neighbor who's not friendly, for you to work on your midot, for you to become a better person, or for whatever reason Hashem did it. But you know Hashem put you there, and therefore you're not upset with your neighbor who may not be the greatest person, but rather you realize that it's there for a purpose, like HaKadosh Baruch Hu did it, and you're happy with that situation. In his second example, the first example, our second example, that Rav Victor Miller brings, is if someone perceives, and I'm putting this in quotes, perceives that his or her spouse is the wrong person, right? For their needs. I have these needs and my spouse is not meeting my needs. This person who's a bitachon, who has a bal bitachon, says, hey, I'm happy anyway, because if I'm in this situation, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu put me with this person, and that's where I'm supposed to be, and that's how I'm supposed to grow in my avodat Hashem, and he realizes this is where he's supposed to be. It's just like a person who goes outside in a hot summer day and says, it's so hot, but he realizes that we need the heat. We need the sun. We need it to go on the trees. We need to have stuff growing. We need stuff cooling. We need stuff this way. He realizes that there is a rhyme and rhythm and a reason for all that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does. And this is what the Hovot HaLevavot is telling us. It's telling us that a person who has bitachon is happy in every situation, no matter where he is, because he knows HaKadosh Baruch Hu put him there. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put him there, then he put him there for a reason, for whatever it is, it's a benefit for him. That's his benefit. He's happy no matter what. Mipnei bitchono belohim, because he trusts in Hashem, and he knows what? Shelo yaseh lo el hatov lo bechol inyan. He knows that Hashem won't do anything to him except what's best for him. Kasher ta'aseh ha'em ha'chomelet livna berchitzato. Just like a mother who gives a bath to her child. What does this mean? All right. So let's take a couple of examples. Some that the daddies can understand, some that the mommies can understand. All right, for daddies, yeah, sometimes you're very nice and kind, and you change a child's diaper. All right, you change a child's diaper. And what happens when you change a child's diaper? The child is fighting you like this, just like that. It doesn't want to get changed, right? The child is in pain or whatever it is. Now, if the child realizes I'm not changing the diaper because I want to hurt you, I'm not changing the diaper because I have nothing better to do than to change diapers. I'm changing the diaper because it's benefiting you. That's exactly the situation of every person in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving you something because it's good for you, because you need it, because it's a benefit for you. And we're like that little baby who's getting changed, and we're fighting it. You know, the mother comes, they come home from the hospital, right? And the child's finally, the umbilical cord comes off, and everybody's excited to give it its first shower. And you have the mother and the grandmother and the great grandmother and the sisters, everybody's there. And they want to put the child in the water. And as most children, the child's fighting it, right? The child is fighting it. Um, and and the child thinks that it's not good for him. But the honest truth is, everyone knows the child needs to get clean. And what they're doing, what the parent, the mother, and everyone else is doing, they're doing it for the benefit of the child. So we have to be more mature in our understanding. We cannot be childlike. We cannot be fighting HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's putting us in a place. We have to, on the other hand, realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is putting us in a place for us, for our benefit. He's washing us. He's cleaning us. He's being mitaken us. He's working on our midot, whatever the story is. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing it for us, and we, having bitachon in Hashem, are able to do this with simcha. Kimo sha'amar David HaMelech. It's like David HaMelech said in Tehillim 131:12. 131 pasuk, the second pasuk, chapter 131, pasuk bet. Says David HaMelech, HaLevavot, Im lo sheviti v'domamti nafshi kigamul alei imo kagamul alai nafshi. Have I not still and quieted my soul like a suckling child at his mother's side? Like the suckling child is my soul. One is David HaMelech saying, the Vilna Gaon was once asked, what does it mean to have bitachon? What does it mean to have bitachon? And the Vilna Gaon used this pasuk to explain it. He said the word kegamul, like a nursing infant, really means like to wean off. That when a child is no longer nursing, you wean off the child off the mother. So says the Vilna Gaon, David HaMelech is saying that I'm relying on Hashem just like a baby who is just fed relies on his mother. He gets his fill, and he's not worried what's going to be next, when is going to be my next meal in the next 3 hours. The child has full bitachon that the mother is going to have more milk again in the proper time. All right, and the truth is that as soon as the mother feeds the child, there's no more milk left in her. It has to re get supplied. And says David HaMelech, I trust in Hashem just like a suckling child who just finished drinking, and he knows that his mother will have for him again when the time comes. Likewise, says the Vilna Gaon, a person trusts in Hashem should be so complete that even if he's used up all his provisions, he has no more money in the bank, he's got no more nothing around, but he realizes that everything comes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He has no worry, not about the next day, not the day after, not the day after that. He's like a child in his mother's arms. As Chaim Shmulevitz would say, that the mother is taking the child and she's walking around with the child, and she goes, she's holding the child and she's going to the bus and she's going to the store and she's going here and she's going there. And you ask the child, "Where are you?" The child's response would not be, "I'm in the supermarket," but rather the child's response would be, "I'm in my mother's arms." That's how we have to have bitachon kadosh baruch Hu. That it's not that we're in a situation that's difficult. It's not that we're in a situation that is challenging. It's not that we're in a situation where it's uncomfortable, but rather, where are we? We're in the arms of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're exactly where Hashem wants us to be. The Bet HaLevi, explaining this pasuk, says that the weaning is not like the Vilna Gaon says. It's the weaning in between feeds. He ate once, he's going to eat later, and now he's coming off. He says this is when the child comes off completely off the milk supply from the mother, right? So up until this point, the child's main food was his mother's milk. And now you wean off the child from the milk. Now the child doesn't know what else he's going to eat. The child relies on the mother, that she will give him the proper nourishment for him or her to grow. That's the same way. We say Hashem knows best. Hashem knows what we have to have. Hashem knows what we need to give, what he needs to give us. And as such, a person has bitachon and will be happy in every situation. There was a sick woman. She was very sick, and she was in the Syrian community in Flatbush. There was a rabbi, when he came to be Mevaker Cholim, and he asked her, as a sick person, the Shekhinah is on her head, on the head of her bed. So he asked her for a beracha. He would like a beracha from the sick woman. She has a power of berachot. So her answer, her beracha to the rabbi was, "My beracha is, you should learn to love Hashem as I love Hashem." That was her beracha. She, at such a stage, loved Hashem because she realized that no matter which situation in life she is, Kadosh Baruch Hu is giving it to her because that's what she needs. There was a patient of a doctor that the doctor was trying all sorts of treatments. It was already a late stage, and the doctor came in to say that they really ran out of treatment and there's not much more they can do. And the patient turns to the doctor and tells the doctor, "I'm sorry, I let you down. That the treatments didn't work on me. I'm sorry to have let you down." Instead of saying to the doctor, "What'd you do?" Da 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 da. The patient had this bitachon that we are where we are, and it's nothing to blame anybody else at. Rabbi Victor Miller, Victor Miller says another concept. He says in medieval times, the Jews in Europe were locked in ghettos. They couldn't move out. They couldn't go to other places. And it seemed very uncomfortable for them. But the truth is, says Rabbi Miller, it was a very big benefit for them. First of all, it kept them away from becoming assimilated with the Goyim. And second, the ghetto walls protected them from harm. The ghetto walls protected them from harm. If they would have to mingle with the Goyim would have persecuted them. The Goyim couldn't come inside the ghettos because the walls kept them out. The Jews who lived inside the walls understood it was for his benefit. He knew that it was making him more secure. That's how everything works in this world. If we understand that everything Hashem does is for our benefit, then we are always going to be happy. That's a very important idea of how to be happy in this world and how to have bitachon, is to realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is putting me exactly where I need to be, and what I need to learn. Even if I'm not comfortable, I'm happy that Hashem put me there because He knows where I'm supposed to be. And but the truth is, a lot of times you hear these good things, and you want to implement them, and sometimes it's really hard. There was a story that Rav Chaim HaLevavot says over that Chaim HaLevavot heard a shir on bitachon from the Vilna Gaon. And at that time, the Chaim HaLevavot was using leeches. Leeches were used sometimes in medical treatments. And he had them on his body. And when he heard the shir, he took off the leeches. He said, bitachon Hashem, I don't need these leeches. And it was a few hours later, he had the leeches back on them. So someone asked him, I thought you said you had bitachon, you don't need these leeches. Why have leeches back on? And Chaim HaLevavot said, yeah, for a few hours I felt it. But after a few hours, I already lost that feeling and that heritage of how to have bitachon properly. That's why it's so important to relearn and relearn and relearn these Musar Sefarim, these Farim of bitachon. They would say that Rabbi Ezra Tiyam, the Tzaddik L'Bracha, Rosh Yeshiva of Porat Yosef, he would walk around with the Hovot HaLevavot in his pocket. The Hovot HaLevavot was in his pocket, and at all times, he would walk around with it and study from it. He also said that the Sefer protected him many, many times. How did he protect him? He says that sometimes he would be invited or told to go places that wasn't where he wanted to be, right? It wasn't so appropriate maybe to be there. And a lot of times he would say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't come. I have Rabbeinu Bachya with me, and he doesn't go to such places." And the Rabbeinu Bachya he was talking about was the Hovot HaLevavot that was in his pocket. But the idea was that he always had it on him because he was always learning from it. We already said all the way in the beginning that we had that the Magid Misharim, the Rav Yosef Karo, he says that the angel came to him on 2 occasions and told him he needs to have a daily study in the Hovot HaLevavot, not just once a week, but rather a daily study in the Hovot HaLevavot, because it's the Hovot HaLevavot so important that a person needs to keep reminding himself of it. And when you go away from it just for a little bit, you get this spiritual high, and then you go away from it, and you kind of lose it. And so it's important to keep reviewing it. Okay. Continues the Hovot HaLevavot, and he's now going to tell us some of the ideas, actually, what the next 7 Pirakim are going to be about. So we'll look at it briefly. And like we said, we'll then do a review of all the benefits we've talked about up until now. Okay, so let's take a look at HaLevavot. What are the next 7 chapters that are coming up in Shar HaBitachon? Number 1, he writes as follows. V'chivan shebe'arti mito'alot HaBitachon be'Elohim v'ha'anotav b'Torah u'ba'olam. Since I've explained some of the benefits of bitachon and Hashem, the benefits that we get in Torah and in the worldly pursuit, ma shenizdamen li, what occurred to my mind. So he's saying, very good. He's saying it's not an exhaustive list. I didn't give you every single benefit that's possible from bitachon, because there are many, many, many benefits in bitachon. But I gave you those that came to mind, which he gave a lot of. Okay. Avaer ata me'inyan habitachon shiv'a divarim. I'm now going to explain in the next 7 chapters the concepts of bitachon. Okay. Ehad mehem. First of all, which we hopefully will see today, the first perek that we're going to have to deal with is Mahu HaBitachon. What is bitachon? We keep saying bitachon, bitachon, emunah, bitachon. What is bitachon? What does it actually mean? That's going to be perek aleph. Vehasheni. And the second perek is going to be dealing with Besibot HaBitachon al HaBeruim. Deals with the qualities that are needed for one to be trusted. Okay? Meaning, what does a person need, or does a being need to trust them? Okay? So what would a person need to have to be able to trust them? And is there any such a person that you can actually trust? That will be the second perek. V'hashelishi, and the third chapter, Beveor ha'hakdamot asher ba'avuran yitchayev habitachon be'Elohim. We're going to clarify the principles that make us have bitachon in Hashem, v'chiyuv ha'esek basibot, as well as clarifying the obligation to engage in some form of parnasah. So, we want to clarify what it means bitachon, and what is the hishladut that you have to do. What is the stuff that a person has to do as well, despite the fact that one relies on Hashem. Okay, v'harivi'i, in the fourth chapter, Bivi'ur hadivarim asher bahem yeh habitachon, focuses on clarifying the various areas to which bitachon applies. V'chiyuv shivcho ugnuto bahem, and the distinction between appropriate bitachon and inappropriate bitachon. So when is it appropriate? Where is it appropriate? And how these type of things will be in perek 4. V'hamishi, and the fifth perek, v'hafresh sheyesh ben esek haboteach be'Elohim b'sibot hateref uven esek mi she'eno boteach be'Elohim bahem. The fifth chapter focuses on the contrast between the way one who trusts in Hashem engages in parnasah, and one who does not trust in Hashem engages in parnasah. How does a person who trusts in Hashem do business? And how does a person who does not trust in Hashem do business? So that will be in the fifth perek. V'hashishi, and in the sixth, bevi'ur ofnei chiyuv ginut da'at ha'omrim ba'arichut ha'ta'avot ba'olam. It discusses various reputations and attitudes to those who say that the pleasures of this world, they have to first get the pleasures of this world. There are some people that say, yeah, I want to learn, I want to have bitachon, I want to do these other things, but first I have to experience the world. First I got to experience the world. First I got to make my first million. First I got to make this, I must make that. And then I'll work on my avodat Hashem. Then I'll work on my kiddusha and stuff like that. And Avigdor Miller would famously say that there was a bacher, not a bacher, he was a very married man, and he was in his 30s. And Avigdor Miller says, I told him, listen, you're not learning, you're not doing anything. You got to make sidarim, you got to learn every day. And this young man told him, Rabbi, says, right now, I'm working really hard, and I'm working to the point where I'll become so stabilized, right? I'll have enough money, I'll make my million, and then I'll be able to sit and learn. And Avigdor Miller says, and the man said, by the time I reached 40, that's when I would have made it. He had a whole cheshbon, a whole explanation of how he's going to get to where he gets. And he said, at age 40, I'll make it. And unfortunately, he passed away at 38. So he never even made it to age 40. And he never had a storm. There's a famous story. There's a famous story that's set over with Rav Pam. That Rav Pam, Zechatzilik Bacham, he used to give a shir in Torah V'dat. And one day he comes into the shir, and there's a 50-year-old man sitting there. He usually gives a shir usually to the bachrim, to the young men in the yeshiva, and so he has a 50-year-old man there So after the shearing, he stops by. He says, what are you doing, Mahi? What are you doing here? This man said, listen, I'm from Chicago. I never really was in yeshiva. And in a few years from now, I'm going to be retiring. And I don't want to be like the other old men who have nothing to do the entire day. That they're wasting away in front of the screen. They're wasting away playing games. I want to feel a fulfillment. And I always wanted to learn Torah. So I took a sabbatical. I took a year off and from work. And I'm going to spend a year here in yeshiva. And I'm going to learn. And so when I retire in a few years from now, at least I'll know how to learn. That's what I'm planning to do this year, know how to learn. So this man came and he spent the entire year in the yeshiva and he was learning by Rav Pam. And turns out he went back to work and a year or two later, he passed away as a young man, 50-something, and he never actually retired. And he never actually had that time to learn that he thought he was going to have. But what he did have, that 1 year that he took off from work, he took a sabbatical, and he went and he spent in the yeshiva, he went and he learned, that he did have. That's an important idea, is that don't wait until it's too late, right? Don't push it off till later. And that's what the HaLevavot is saying here, right? But only after they have achieved their desires. These are the people who want to pledge. They want Hashem to give them, the million, the 2 million, the yacht, and the house, and everything. And then we'll start learning. And then we'll start doing. And then we'll start believing. And all these type of things. That is what the 6th chapter is going to be about. Okay. Now, the 7th chapter, I believe that's the 7th and final chapter of Shar HaBitachon, is going to talk about B'mafsidei HaBitachon Be'Elohim. It's going to cover the things that make it difficult to have bitachon. What are the obstacles? What are the challenges to have bitachon? That's going to be explained in the 7th chapter. And all the other related considerations we have to speak about in the subject of bitachon. Or when it's necessary to cut back in its parts, sometimes you have to maybe cut back in bitachon, he's saying, perhaps. With the brief synopsis of the 10 levels of bitachon. Okay, so that is the setting up the next 7 chapters. But like we promised earlier, we're going to do now a quick summary of the benefits that a person gets when he has bitachon. Okay, so there were benefits that are spiritual and benefits that are worldly. And the HaLevavot gave us 5 and 5. So let's review first the spiritual benefits. The HaLevavot in its first spiritual benefit said, one attains a peace of mind and a sense of reliance upon Hashem in a way that a servant must rely upon his master. If one fails to rely completely on Hashem, he must inevitably rely on someone else or on one's own power. And then Hashem withdraws his providence. As a result, one loses part of his attachment and is liable to meet with failure. Meaning, if you have bitachon, you become connected to Hashem. You don't have bitachon, you become further separated from Hashem, chas v'shalom. Second benefit, spiritual benefit, one does not feel subservient to any other person. If you have bitachon in Hashem, you're not trying to please people. All right, he's not flattering anybody. It's not. By the way, it's not saying to be a grossly a gross person to walk around and do things that are not nice to other people. That's not what he's saying. He's saying rather, I'm not scared to tell somebody they're doing something wrong if I know that they're doing something wrong. Obviously, that comes with chachma. We spoke about all that. But still, a person who has bitachon in Hashem, he's not scared of the other person. He doesn't have to flatter the other person or anything like that. Okay. The third spiritual benefit that we spoke about is one is calm and serene. he's able to focus on Hashem's service. He has nuhata nefesh. He can learn better. When your mind is scattered, you cannot learn so well. The fourth spiritual benefit, one who is happy with whatever portion Hashem grants him, he feels comfortable giving tzedakah and spending money on mitzvot. He's not worried. He's not, he's not cheaping out when it comes to mitzvot, and he's not cheaping out when he's coming to tzedakah. He gives. Listen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent you someone. Recently, in 1 week, I had 2 personal requests that came to me and said, "Can you please give us, and not just give us, a significant amount of money." I'm not talking about dollars, $20, $50. I'm talking about a significant amount of money. And they both came in the same week. And Baruch Hashem, I was able to give each one according to what they needed. But that is the idea of having bitachon in Hashem and giving tzedakah, not being scared about my money. I give it. Someone came, Hashem send them to you. You give them tzedakah. That is the fourth benefit, spiritual benefit. The fifth spiritual benefit. One always maintains his attachment to Hashem and a proper attitude towards his fellow. Attaining wealth does not detract from his reliance, and losing wealth does not make him envious of others. So the amount of money I have in my bank, the amount of money I have in my wallet, the amount of money I have in my pocket is not going to make a difference to how I serve Hashem and how I deal with other people. That's not going to make me sad. It's not going to make me happy. I know that Hashem gives me the amount of money that I need, and anything else that I have, and what I have is from Hashem, and as such, I can deal with everything normally, and I don't change my mood based on the money in my bank account. And now, the worldly benefits. The worldly benefits. One is free from stress, and that is perhaps the most important for our generation. Our generation deals with a lot of stress. There's especially, the age when you're 40 and 50 and you have children to take care of and you have parents to take care of. That's an added stress. And then we know that America is a Prozac nation. Everybody's on antidepressants. Many immigrants to this country, the first words they learn is depression, right? And being depressed, because that's something that's very much alive here. A lot of people suffer from it. And yet, HaLevavot says that a person who has bitachon will be free from stress, will be free from depression. He has bitachon in Hashem, he's relying, he's trusting, he knows that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take care of everything. The second worldly benefit. One is free from traveling long distances in search of his income, right? If you don't have bitachon on Hashem, you're going to think you have to move and you have to change and you have to do. Now, by the way, we spoke about this already. There is a thing, Mishana Makom, Mishana Mazal. There is a thing that you should go out somewhere else. The Gemara talks about it to make money and stuff like that. We're not saying any of that. What we're saying here is that a person has bitachon. He knows that Kadosh Baruch Hu can give him here, he can give him there, he can give him everywhere. And so he's not going to go out and do and travel far. And the third benefit, he's not going to look for stressful, physical, taxing, or potentially harmful jobs. He's going to realize if Hashem can give him a job like this, Hashem can give him a job like that, and he'll make money in the way that he needs in a more calmer way. He has bitachon in Hashem that he can do that. So that's a third worldly benefit. The fourth worldly benefit is one is relaxed about his business matter, even if he suffers setbacks, even if the money is going the wrong direction in the business. He knows Kadosh Baruch Hu is there. He has bitachon. He's relaxed about it. And the 10th and final and the fifth of the worldly benefits, the one we just saw, is one is able to be happy in any situation, no matter where I am. I'm in the hands of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. The other list that the Hovot HaLevavot gave us, which we'll review also, was the list of the advantages of the Baal Bitachon over the alchemist. Remember the alchemist? The alchemist was the person who claimed he can take cheap metals and expensive metals and turn them into precious metals. Okay, so the HaLevavot said if that was true, still the Baal Bitachon has 10 advantages over the alchemist. So what were these 10 advantages? This is more of a review because we don't want to finish this Hakdama without remembering what we spoke about. It was over a couple of weeks. So let's take a look at this. Number one, even when it seems there's no source of sustenance, Hashem supplies to the Baal Bitachon what he needs. The alchemist needs raw material to make his. He needs cheap metals to make expensive metals. The Baal Bitachon doesn't need anything. He just needs to have Bitachon. Okay, Hashem will supply everything else. He doesn't need to have the physical supply on him. Number two, the one who trusts in Hashem is confident that no matter what happens, it's for his benefit. He knows that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing it for him. One who trusts in Hashem does not fear anybody sharing his trust. Right? The alchemist is worried someone else will know about it and he'll get in trouble or whatever it is. Number four, one who trusts in Hashem lives with confidence that Hashem will provide his livelihood according to his will when he wishes it in the place where he wishes. The alchemist needs to have stocks of gold and just enough, not too much, not too little. Number five, Hashem will cause people to respect a man who trusts in him, right? An alchemist is always scared someone will find out, but someone who has bitachon, people will trust him. One who trusts in Hashem is secure against disease and illness. Hashem will take care of him completely, whereas someone who's an alchemist is worried about everything. If a person trusts in Hashem, his food will not be withheld from him at any time and in any place till the end of his life. Hashem will take care of him. One who trusts in Hashem can be secure in his own land, get peace of his mind in his place of residence. Number 9, one who trusts in Hashem will be accompanied with reward for his bitachon, both in this world and the next. And number 10, when people know that an individual has trust in Hashem, he become greater in the eyes of the people, and people will honor him. Unlike the alchemist, again, when he's scared, people will find out, people will know about it, he has to go into hiding or whatever like that. So these lists, and again, like he said, like the HaLevavot said, Rabbi Bachya said, is that it's not an exhaustive list, doesn't have every benefit. It's just some of the benefits that came to his mind. And so far we've seen at least 20 benefits that he mentioned. And a person thinks about it, you can probably find a lot more benefits in having bitachon. Okay, before we move on, we're now coming to chapter 1 and of Shar HaBitachon. HaLevavot said in the first chapter, we're going to learn Mahu HaBitachon. What is bitachon? Okay, so here we go. Rabotai. This is the defining moment in understanding what bitachon is. So, Ach Mahut HaBitachon. The essence of bitachon. He menuhat nefesh haboteach. Is the tranquility of the mind of the one who trusts. That means a person who trusts in Hashem is going to be a man whose mind is at peace. He menuhat nefesh haboteach. Okay? So imagine this scene. A person, of course, is at a kosher beach. He just sold his company for $80 million. He married off his 10th child. His whole family is healthy. What does he have? He has total tranquility. He's completely calm. Right? He's completely calm. That's bitachon. Bitachon is not having all that stuff. Bitachon is that result, is being that tranquil, having everything in order, right? That tranquility, that is bitachon. That's what the HaLevavot says. Ach mahut HaBitachon hi menuchat nefesh haboteach. That's how you know a person has bitachon. The fact that he is completely calm. What is his calmness from? It's not from the having all those things, but rather it's the bitachon. It's the relying on Hashem. He's not tranquil because he has all those things. He's at calm and at peace because he has bitachon in Hashem. Okay. V'shehiyeh libo samuch. And he has confidence that, okay, v'shehiyeh libo samuch, and his heart should rely on mi shebitach alav sheyaseh hatov v'hanachon lo. In whom he trusts will do what's good and right for him. V'shehiyeh libo samuch. That his heart will lean on the one he knows that will do good stuff for him. His heart is leaning and relying on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does that mean? Okay, so libo samuch. We have in Hilchot Tefillah, right? When a person is standing in Amidah, he cannot be leaning on something, right? He has to be standing on his own. What does it mean to lean on something? So the explanation given is that if you remove that object, that person will fall, right? He's leaning on that. That's considered leaning. So perhaps when the HaLevavot is saying, V'shiyeh libo samuch ami shebatach alav sheyaseh hatov v'hanachon lo, means that he's relying on Hashem so much that he's actually leaning on Hashem. He's giving his full lean on Hashem, and if Hashem wasn't there, he would fall. That's what it means, bitachon, to rely on Hashem. That it's not me and Hashem is my backup, has shalom, but rather the whole thing is Hashem. I'm completely samuch, I'm completely relying on Hashem being there and helping me out. That's what it means. V'shiyeh libo samuch ami shepatach alav sheyaseh hatov v'hanachon lo. Okay, ba'inyan asher yiftach alav. In regards to the subject in which he trusts, kefi yecholto, and according to the ability, his ability to trust. That means if you trust in Hashem in business matters, you will have confidence in achieving business success. If you are trusting in Hashem in regards to your health, you have confidence in health matters. In either case, you must still exert yourself to achieve the desired outcome. But if you do it with the intention of using the method of bitachon, you'll be doing it without anxiety and with the feeling of confidence that it's going to succeed. A person is completely relying on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he's not worried about it. That is exactly what bitachon is, right? Let's read this paragraph again, because this is, again, the definition of what it means to have bitachon. Ach mahut bitachon hi menuchat nefesh haboteach. This is having menuchat nefesh. V'shiyeh libo samuch ami shepatach alav sheyaseh tov hanachon lo b'inyan asher yiftach alav kifi yechalto, according to his ability to trust, and continues the HaLevavot. V'dato b'meh shemefik tovato. And this is also assumes that the person in whom he trusts knows what is for his benefit. Okay? This means that he knows that he trusts in what is, meaning that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he knows that he trusts, knows what is for his benefit. Meaning, not everybody knows what's for your benefit. The man himself doesn't know what's for his benefit. He's jumping here, he's jumping there. He doesn't know what's good for him, what's not good for him. But someone who has bitachon, right? He realizes that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what's for his benefit at all times. Okay? All times he knows that Kadosh Baruch Hu has his benefit for him. Let me just read from over here a second. He trusts that one who relies on him will do so due to the vulnerability to do what is good for him and the knowledge of what it is good for him. Okay, let's read these words over here. In other words, bitachon means being supremely confident that your destiny is in the hands of someone who will do whatever is good for you and only what is good for you, because he knows what is best for you and is able to do what is best for you. There's only one that can fit this definition. It's like Kadosh Baruch Hu. Nobody else knows definitely what is good for you, right? This does not mean that the one who has bitachon will attain the results that he wants and that he thinks is good. Just because you have bitachon, oh, everything's going to be great, that you think everything's going to work out. No. Rather, as the Hovot level makes clear, in the next chapter makes it even more clear, it means that one who has bitachon is confident that whatever result comes about will actually be the outcome that is best for him, whether he understands it or not. This is because the one upon whom he relies knows better than he does what is good for him and has the ability to achieve whatever results he deems good. So this is a very important idea. You can't have bitachon that I'm going to have bitachon, it's going to work out well. That's not bitachon. Bitachon is, I have bitachon na Kadosh Baruch Hu, that he knows what's best for me, and whatever happens, that is actually what is best for me. That's bitachon, right? Knowing that Hashem knows what's best for me, and that Hashem has the ability, because no one else has the ability to do things. They think they have ability. Yeah. Now, yes, later, no. Because Baruch Hu always has the ability to do something. And that's bitachon. Knowing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what's best for me, and the results of whatever happens is best for me, and Hashem did it, and that's the best for me. That is bitachon. How a person has to view what bitachon is. Now, the Hovot HaLevavot now says the ikar of bitachon. Aval ha'ikar, the most important part, asher ba'avuro yeh habitachon min haboteach, that the most important element as the cause for trust, ve'im yifaked lo yimatzeh habitachon, and if it's missing, it's not considered trust. So you need to have this next point. If you don't have it, you don't have trust. What is it? Hu shi'eh libo batuach b'mi she'yivtach bo, is that he should have confidence in the one whom he trusts. Bitachon, from the lashon of ani batuach, right? A maftiach lach, haftacha, guarantee. That's what it means, bitachon. Shekayem ma she'amar, vayaseh ma she'arav. Right? That's only HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu, he is able to keep his word and fulfills what is promised. Right? I have a mortgage that I need to pay. I don't have the money. Where am I getting it from? Bitachon is, I have bitachon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is able to do it. And that's the bitachon. That's what he's writing over here. He has trust and he's completely guaranteed that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to do what's best for him. A guarantee. That's the lashon of bitachon. Rav Victor Miller says, it's like what David HaMelech says, Mi ha'isha hafetz chaim, ohev yamim, lirot tov, nistol shecha mera, usvatecha medaber mirma, sur mera ve'aseh tov, va'kesh shalom verotfehu. Right? If they follow these instructions, Hashem promises to give them long life. You have to trust in it. That's exactly it. Hashem said, do this, you do that, and you get it. Vayachashov alav hatov b'ma shelo hitina lo. Wow. he should also think that Hashem will also do good things for him, things he did not make any conditions about. Below Arav Asohu, and did not make any promises about. Person has to have bitachon in Hashem, that even if he's not worthy, even if Hashem didn't promise it to him, Hashem would still take care of him. Now, the where do we have this? Keep saying Hashem says he promised us. He promised us. Where did he promise us all this? So he writes over here. The answer is twofold. This is in the article Shar HaBitachon. He writes as follows: the HaLevavot says many times in the Shar that every living creature, whether human or animal, is guaranteed to receive the food it needs. As it says, so having created all flesh, Hashem has taken the responsibility of nourishing all flesh. Okay? That guarantees applies to the minimal means of survival. Anything extra is an added favor from Hashem. Second, in many places in the Torah, Hashem says, if you keep my words, right? Then you're going to get rain, you're going to get this, and you're going to get that. So he'll shower us with goodness and bless us with bountiful sustenance. And it's linked to our obeying Hashem's commands. If we disobey them, we forfeit the right to have those things. Hashem's kindness and mercy are all encompassing, and He is kind and merciful to all His creations. So we have pledges from Hashem that He's going to take care of us. So if you have the pledges from Hashem that He's going to take care of us, then that's it. That's your bitachon right there. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He pledges, He's promised He's going to take care of us. We know we can trust in Hashem. Hashem has the ability to do everything. Hashem knows what's best for us. That's the bitachon. We have the guarantee that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is taking care of us. And the person who trusts should have confidence that the one whom he trusts will do it as a voluntary gift and kindness, even to those who don't deserve it. Now, when I was learning this, they explained it that bitachon and expecting Hashem to do stuff He didn't pledge us, and extra stuff and stuff like that, even when we don't deserve it. Why would HaKadosh Baruch Hu do this? And they explained that it's not just that Hashem does things like this. There's a saying that a lot of people say, and they have good intentions, and I think they need to explain a little bit what they're saying. They say, think good and it'll be good. I believe in Yiddish is trach git sein git, right? If you think good, it's going to be good. What does that mean? What exactly is the thinking? So I just think something good is going to happen? It could be apikarsis. Where is Hashem involved in all this? So perhaps what they mean is that when you think good means when you're relying on Hashem, then you know whatever happens will be good. Thinking good it's not about all positive thinking. Positive thinking is, I'm positive thinking because I'm relying on Hashem. I have bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so I'm able to be a positive person. I have nuhat nefesh. That's exactly what it means to be bitachon. Stam just to think positivity. Oh yeah, I'm thinking something's going to happen. It's going to happen. That's not what it is. Bitachon brings you nuhat nefesh. Bitachon, to know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what's best for you. That's the positive thinking that a person has to have. So it's not just I'm thinking positive, it's going to be positive. That's bitachon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He knows what He's doing, and He's going to take care of us. He has the ability to take care of us. And it's some sort of relationship with Hashem. That's what it is. It's having a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There is a story in the Gemara, in Masechet Ta'anit. And the Gemara brings a story of Nakdimon ben Gurion. And he went, and there was time of Olarego, and they needed wells of water, and all the wells were out. And there was this guy who had it, and he went and he borrowed 12, and he promised them that Hashem will give it back to him. And if Hashem doesn't give it back by a certain time, the rain didn't come down, then he'll pay a big amount of money for the water. And the day came, and the rain didn't come down. And this guy sent Nakdimon ben Gurion, you owe me the money. And the guy, and Nakdimon said, I still have all day. And he sent him again by Mincha by the afternoon. He kept sending him, come, you have to give me the gimme. And he was so confident he's going to get the money. He went into the shower, this guy. He went into the bathhouse. And Nakdimon went to the Bet HaMikdash, and he prayed there. And all of a sudden, the water came down, and he got his water. The guy said, you got me the water, but you gave it to me too late. You gave it to me too late, and you still owe me the money. So Nakdimon went back, and he prayed again. And he said, this is the words they want to show you here. Ribono shel olam, Master of the universe. Hoda sheyesh lecha ahovim ba'olamech. Show them that you have beloved ones in your universe. Show them that you have beloved ones here, that you have those who you love. And what happened? The clouds dispersed, and right away the sun came out, and they showed this guy that it was still daytime. All right? And Tana was taught in the Braita, Lo Nakdimon Shemo, Ela Buni Shemo. His name was Buni, perhaps Buni from the Lashon of Ben. He was called the son of who? Son of Hashem. He had full reliance in his father. Lavinu Shabbat Shemayim. And why is he called Nakdimon? She Niktira Hama Ba'avudo. Because the sun pierced the clouds on his behalf. So what did Nakdimon ben Gurion, what did he daven for? Show them that there are beloved Jews in this world. Show them that there are those that you have a relationship with, those that have bitachon. That's why Nakdimon ben Gurion, first of all, how can he make such a promise? He made such a promise because he knew Hashem can guarantee it. Why? Why didn't he pray all those tithes until the last day? He said, I guarantee Hashem will take care of it. Okay, the last day Hashem didn't take care of it, so listen, I'm going to pray now. But until then, he knew Hashem was going to take care of it. He didn't give up, right? Because he knew Hashem is the pilot. Hashem is the one in charge. And Hashem can give it at any moment, right? That's why you don't give up. You continue to pray. Even if the sword is on a person's neck, you continue to pray. Why? Because Baruch Hu is in charge. Because Baruch Hu is in charge, he can do everything in the last second, all right? It's never too late for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, so that takes us through the beginning of Perek Aleph, and B'ezrat Hashem, we will continue and pick up next time. Yashar Koyach for all those who joined.